Hi, I'm Pat Barnard, Group Managing Editor for TMCnet, coming to you from Interactions 2011 here in Indianapolis. This is Interactive Intelligence's annual users forum, and joining me is Rafael Manzon, CEO of Contact Center Compliance. He is also former Director of Business Affairs for the ATA. Hey, Rafael, how are you?
I'm wonderful, Pat. How are you?
Welcome.
Thank you.
So why don't you start off by giving us a full overview of Contact Center Compliance, if you could, please.
Absolutely. Pat, Contact Center Compliance focuses on exactly what the name says, Contact Center Compliance. A lot of people have a lot of complications around what Contact Center Compliance is,
Right.
and it's because it's a difficult topic. I mean,
Yeah, changing all the time.
absolutely. I don't
Yeah.
know if you were in our speech earlier, but it was two attorneys and my guy, and we had questions at every turn.
Right.
And a lot of the answers end up being depends.
Right.
It depends on how you're applying the law. It depends on how you are contacting, and it depends outbound, inbound. You know how it goes.
Right, absolutely. So tell me a little bit about the services that you guys provide. I mean, go into a little bit more detail on
Absolutely.
how you assist clients.
Since the inception of the Do Not Call law, there have been a couple of ways to deal with the simple fact that there's a lot of data.
Right.
You're talking 200 plus million phone numbers.
Right.
So you have to make sure that your agents are not reaching out to those phone numbers.
Mm-hmm.
We are a scrubbing company.
Right.
Primarily what we did was we designed a simple way for people to plug in their data and come out with a solution that makes them automatically compliant.
Okay, great. That's really cool. Now, obviously, this is one of the key challenges that especially companies operating in the collection space face, is the fact that you have, this overriding federal regulations, and then within that, you have all the individual state regulations. Makes it very difficult to operate, doesn't it? I mean, as you're
Absolutely.
reaching out across state lines, multi-jurisdictional,
Absolutely.
you've got to know exactly what you're doing so that you're in compliance, you're not breaking the law, because there are serious fines and penalties that could be levied upon you.
Very serious, 16,000 per number. And Pat, the fun fact is, if you get an official investigation, they can go back in your records and
Audit you.
exactly,
Right.
and then fine you appropriately.
Right.
So when we see fines in this space, it's not, oh, here's a few $1,000 fine.
Right.
It's always in the millions. It's one of those things where you're either doing it right and you're doing it wrong.
Right.
And I think it's such a shame when solutions like ours exist where people could just plug in
Right.
and do it right.
Right. Okay, great. And a lot of work for you guys, though, on
Yeah.
your end. Obviously, you have to be in tune with legislative actions as they're coming up, not just on the
Yes.
federal level, but across all the states.
Yes.
There's probably a lot of different repositories of information that you guys could tie into, but you have to be proactive, don't you, in terms of
Very.
following all of this?
Very.
And that's something that a lot of your clients probably aren't able to do. They just don't have the resources to be able to do that in many cases, right?
Really, we had to build a strong team of attorneys. Let's call them a strong team of people in the know, because they're not just attorneys, they're also practitioners.
Right.
We have a strong alliance with associations like the American Teleservices Association, where I came from.
Right.
Where we look at things. When you said, you have to worry about certain states, preemption was a big topic. Preemption is something that we were hoping to get, which would say, no, there's going to be one federal law, and that's what we're all going to follow, and we're going to focus real hard on following that path. But they said, no, that's too easy. You can't just have one path. You're going to have all these laws, and it's going to be ever-changing. This morning at our session, we were pointing out how, unfortunately for us as a teleservices industry, it makes politicians popular to carry the flag of, oh, I will protect the consumer, I will set new law.
Right.
However, those seem to be about campaigning, not really about long-term, on the ground, how do we comply?
Right.
So it leaves a lot of questions, and that's where you really require a knowledgeable team to apply their expertise, past legal precedents, and a good defensible process to what you do so that you can do business without fear of fines or without fear of ending up on the fish wrapper tomorrow.
Right, and that's a key word right there,
Absolutely.
defensible.
Defensible, yes.
And the fact that whether or not it's defensible, I'm trying to figure out a good political way of putting this. On the
Safe harbor.
On the surface of it, that everything appears to be okay and that you are operating okay.
Yes.
You are defensible in that regard.
At least, you have to show, you don't have to. It's nice to show, if you're ever in that position, that you genuinely tried.
Right.
You went after a process that worked.
Right.
You implemented it, and you have the data to show, look, you can show the FTC and the FCC, we tried to do what the law said. If you really want to change something in the technicality of the way we do things, we'll do that.
Right.
Now, that's a worst case scenario because by the time you get to safe harbor or defensible, you're in litigation.
Right.
Our hope is that our process makes it easy enough for you.
Right. So you can preempt all that.
Exactly. We don't want you in litigation. You know, our services are a minuscule cost. I mean, the reason we're able to operate is because we have, like Ryan said, hundreds of clients.
Right.
To each individual provider, it's not a major burden.
Right.
And like I said, it's plug and play. Software as a solution has been the real secret sauce for us. I mean, you just plug in your data. I wish I could show it to you here, Pat. You drag a file from your desktop to our solution, press one button, and everything happens in the background. And you get a nice report that says, this many were pulled out, this many were cell phones, this many.
Right.
I mean, if you're a compliance officer in that role in a contact center, it really does take the guesswork out for you.
Right, right. Okay, that's great. So your clients are basically sending you their call databases, and then you're scrubbing them for them for compliance.
Yes, except for we're not really actively involved. The beauty of it is it all happens on your screen live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And how much of it is automated and how much of it is manual? I mean, because it is changing all the time. Legally, the rug is getting pulled out from under people's feet all the time.
I'm not an attorney, but I'm going to use an attorney response on you.
Okay.
Pat, it depends. You know,
right.
If you're looking to do basic scrubbing of your list for a basic campaign that fits into a mold,
right.
We've got several molds that you just plug and play. At the beginning of, when you become a client, we look at your campaign closely, and we decide how best and easiest to serve you for you. So at the end of the day, if you can plug into something that works, awesome.
Right.
If not, I have phenomenal programmers in-house.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, if your campaign is absolutely unique and you require something that only you require, those are the kind of clients that we keep for years, as you can imagine.
Right, right. So you have to come in and review or assess this campaign first, sort of before you take on a client, isn't that right? Because if they go to plug in and just go the fully automated route, it'll send up red flags, and then you're going to have to be reactive to that situation, right?
Again, situation depends, Pat.
Right. Okay. Right.
That's an annoying answer you're going to get from all us compliance
and I
guys.
realize that that's part of the game.
You know, you
here,
got a good compliance guy when they always say depends, Pat.
Right.
But yes, you're absolutely right. For most of us, our processes have intricacies that become different over time. With those type of intricacies, we do go in and we make adjustments to how we handle your data. Like you said earlier, depending on the states that you're calling, they have different laws.
Right.
So this number may be perfectly dialable if it's in Delaware, but not in another state, etc.
Right.
So we do work with each and every one of our clients to do that. We have an entire support team to help with that.
Okay, great. In a lot of ways, it's like an insurance policy for your operations in many regards.
Yes. Right? We look at it less as insurance and more as a feature. I mean, anybody you work with knows that you're doing it in a reputable manner. We all know that the only money that lasts is good money.
Right.
So the businesses, and especially with the economy we've had, you've seen a lot of firms go out of business. Not a lot of our firms go out of business because they were doing it the way they didn't have added burden. When these laws came down, they knew that they were going to have to do something about it, and they put in a compliance officer, and they put in the processes to survive a tough economic climate. And when the tough economic climate came, the clients ran for shelter under reputable companies.
Right.
So, you know, comes with the territory.
Right, absolutely, I get it. So we've talked about compliancy in terms of DNC. There's also the whole issue of compliancy with regard to the data that's being collected from customers, and what you do with that.
Yes.
So that's going to be part of what you guys do as well, isn't it? I mean, in terms of, does that factor in with the services that you provide to your clients at all?
Data privacy is a big issue,
right?
Not only for us and for our clients, but kind of for everyone around the world right now.
Right.
Anytime you make a purchase, you don't know where that data is going anymore,
right?
Or who's receiving that data, or once they take it into a system, who has access to that system. We have taken all the precautions on our end to make sure that the massive amounts of data that get transferred through our servers are as secure as can be. However, moving forward, I do expect our company to have to do more coaching and more software as a solution around data privacy as laws develop there. Absolutely.
Right, yeah. And part of the reason I bring up that question is because, as we both know, contact centers are collecting more and more data.
Oh,
they want massive amounts of data in order to get insights into their customers.
They have to have it, yes, absolutely.
You know, so it goes way beyond just the actual phone number. So that was part of the basis for that question.
Without a doubt.
And I wasn't sure whether or not your services sort of bled out into that customer data privacy type like area.
We definitely do. There's definitely crossover, and there will definitely be more, Pat.
Okay, great. Anything else about contact center compliance as a business? I mean, obviously you guys must be growing. There must be tremendous demand for your services, taking into account what's going on out there legislatively.
Judge for yourself, Pat. I mean, this morning's session went really well. It's really exciting to watch the attendees' eyes light up when they flip the page on a presentation and they start talking about a new bill that just got passed. This morning we presented a bill that just got passed in Indiana that affects the do not call in a way where you've heard about this.
I heard about
yes.
that. Yeah.
The short of it is any number that has a 317 or an Indiana prefix, area code. Yeah. It can be governed by the TCPA or the HB 5005, I think it is in Florida, and HB, I can't remember exactly in Indiana. We have attorneys for this.
Yes.
But yeah, you should have seen the room light up. I mean, they were like, wait, that applies to me. And they didn't know it. And that's really the problem. When it comes to compliance, you and I have jobs, and we don't wake up every morning to make sure that we're compliant. Teleservices companies aren't any different. I mean, it's either you're doing it right or you're not doing it at all. So when they do find out, their eyes light up and they come to us. We had probably 30 to 40 people come up and say, not only are we happy that you told us, but we need you. So yes, it's an exciting time for us. And what I like best is that we are ready to serve. We've been doing it since the inception of the Do Not Call.
Right.
We've been doing it in a very public manner. We've been doing it in collaboration with some phenomenal teams. So we're prepared. When they walk up and they say, we need you, it just puts a smile on our face because we're ready for them.
Right. And
you've
got a great partner too with Interactive Intelligence.
Oh, they've been amazing to us. Not only have they been amazing to contact center compliance, but they're amazing in the industry all around. They participate at the ATA events.
Right.
Everywhere we go, we see them. And they have made it very easy for DNC.com solutions to be implemented through their technology.
Right.
They have taken special steps to make sure that their clients can do reputable work in a compliant manner.
Right, okay. And your take on this event, obviously it provides a great opportunity for you guys.
It's electric. What can I say? It's much bigger than I expected.
Right.
And it's not my first one.
Right.
I don't know if you've seen the refreshments. I mean, they just do a phenomenal job here.
Right.
The sessions are top notch. The refreshments are good.
Right.
The level of people that you meet at Interactive Intelligence events is always impressive. I'm glad to be here, and I'm happy to have brought in my team.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Rafael, for your time. We've been talking to Rafael Manzon, CEO of Contact Center Compliance, coming to you from Interactive Intelligence's annual user forum, Interactions 2011 here in Indianapolis. Thanks again for your time.
Pat, thank you.
Thank you.